I am a huge fan of action films. It's my favourite genre by a country mile. I love the gunplay. I love the car chases. I love the stunts. I love the explosions and the spectacle of it all. Some of my boyhood idols were action stars like Arnie, Stallone and Van Damme. They were my heroes. They were badass and strong, and I wanted to emulate them. But in my late teens, another action star showed up. Someone who wasn't an invincible Adonis, but was vulnerable. Someone that didn't use guns very often because he could create the most beautiful fight scene you'll probably ever see on the big screen. Someone that would show you some death-defying stunt in one moment and make you laugh in the next. Someone who would show more creativity in one action set piece than most action stars would have in their whole careers. That man was Jackie Chan, and he changed everything. I was thinking about it. I was trying to think of the first Jackie Chan film that I seen, but I honestly can't remember. What I do remember though, sitting watching a Jackie Chan film, getting so hyped over the fighting, the stunts and the parkour, to the point that me and my friends would grab our crappy camera phones, head to the park to make our own Jackie Chan stunt moments. These are some of my fondest memories as a teenager, and it was all because of Jackie Chan. I wish I still had the footage, but sadly, they're lost in the pages of history. But let's honour the man who actually inspired me to go do it in the first place, in this two-part retrospective of the greatest action star who's ever lived, Jackie Chan. Jackie was born on the 7th of April 1954 in Hong Kong. Hold up, why is it we all care about where and when someone was born when talking about them? All the exciting stuff that they end up doing hasn't happened yet. Unless Jackie came out the womb kicking ass, I wouldn't be surprised. The big important moment of Jackie's early years was his father and mother immigrating to Australia to work in the American embassy. This would lead to Jackie being enrolled into a Peking opera school. If you don't know what Peking opera is, it's a type of Chinese theatre that involves a lot of acting, singing, dancing, martial arts, acrobatic. It's actually very cool to watch. You should really go look it up. During his decade of training, Jackie learned how to sing, dance and do the crazy flippy stuff that he's known for today. He eventually became part of the 7 Little Fortunes, which were the tippity top of the students at the school. This is where he met Sammo Hung and Yan Biao. They were known as the Three Dragons and would go on to change the martial art landscape forever, but that doesn't come till later. Fun fact, when Jackie was training as a kid, he was picked to play a part in a film. This would be a defining moment, as this is when he would decide that he wanted to be an actor.
I was on the school training in the daytime from 5 o'clock in the morning until at night. Very tough training. Suddenly one day there's a director came to our school. He wanted to choose some child actor. And that time I think, yes, movie good. When I'm making a movie, I don't have training anymore.
When Jackie was 17, he went on to become a stuntman in Hong Kong.
Being a stuntman at that time really earns a lot of money because besides stuntman, I double.
Which a lot of martial artists did back then. This actually led to him being a stuntman in 2 Bruce Lee films, Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon. And if that wasn't cool enough, in Fist of Fury, when the guy gets kicked out the door, which was the furthest wire work kick done on film at the time. I mean, his career hasn't really started yet and he's already being known in the industry for doing mental stunts. Then during Enter the Dragon, he gets clocked in the mush by Bruce Lee and has a fantastic story to tell about it.
He just one stick right on my head and I just felt, a little dizzy. Then he just throw the 2 sticks, just turn around. Oh my God. He ran to me and lift me up. I'm sorry. And actually I'm not paying anymore because, young guy and me. But suddenly, I don't know why, I just pretend very painful. I just want Bruce Lee hold me as long as he can.
After the tragic death of Bruce Lee, Hong Kong were scrambling to find a new Bruce Lee, and Jackie's name was on that list. After Willie Chan, a Hong Kong film producer, saw him in Hand of Death, a film directed by John Woo. Wait, did I read that right? Then suddenly John Woo called, Jackie, I want you to be my stunt coordinator. I said, okay. Huh, nice. This leads to Jackie starring in the new Fist of Fury, which was a film that was really only made to fill the gap that Bruce Lee left. This didn't really go very well, and the film didn't do grand, as Jackie was basically to act like Bruce Lee and not himself. He would go on to make a couple more films like this, kinda middling in the Hong Kong film industry, until Snakes and Eagle's Shadow was directed by Yuen Wu Ping, and Jackie plays Chen Fu, an orphan who's been taken in by a kung fu school to be kinda the janitor slash punching bag. But one day he bumps into an old beggar who just so happens to be the master of the snake style, and Jackie goes on to learn kung fu from him. But this old man is actually the last master of the snake style, as the eagle style is killing off all the masters and students. This leads to training montages and eventually the big fight where Jackie ends up defeating the master of the eagle style. On paper, this is a bit of a run-of-the-mill kung fu film, having an unlikely hero and kung fu schools at each other's throats. But what makes this such a classic is it's the first film that Jackie gets some creative freedom on. Yuen Wu Ping seen how good Jackie was at stunts and fighting and decided to give him control of his stunts and some of the fights. This montage here is a prime early example of Jackie's blend of Peking opera and comedy as he tries to learn the snake style. We get all his use of unlikely props and a sprinkle of funny moments as he learns how to kick ass, which would go on to be a staple of his style of fighting. This combination of comedy and martial art would be a breath of fresh air for Hong Kong cinema, and the audience ate it up and showed that Jackie could be a leading man, and it led to one of the most well-known martial art films of the decade. This is the second film that Jackie and Yuen Wu Ping worked on together, and it will go down as one of the greatest kung fu films ever made. Jackie plays the legendary folk hero Wong Fei Hong, which could be a whole video in itself about who this guy was. In Drunken Master, he is a troublesome teenager whose parents have had just about enough of him and send him to an old beggar to train him in martial arts. Okay. The beggar is the last master of the drunken fist style, right? Through montages, Jackie learns how to do drunken boxing. At this time, there's a rival kung fu style out there killing people. Okay, this is sounding awfully familiar. After Jackie finally masters the art of drunken boxing, he goes on to beat the big bad baddie of the rival style. Drunken Master will go down in history as one of the best martial art movies ever made, and this is because you get to see what Jackie Chan really has to offer. It takes everything that Snake and Eagle's Shadow does and builds upon it. It takes the comedy and turns it up to 11. It takes the slapstick and turns it up to 11. We get to see more unconventional fighting. It really showed that action and comedy are a perfect fit for each other. The reason Jackie does so well in Drunken Master and in all action films since is the way he's able to act within action. Whereas most action stars are just a part of the action, reacting to what's happening around them, Jackie Chan is the action and he knows how to act within action. Drunken Master is such a good example of this. Even though it's early in his career and he's a little bit over the top with it, Jackie Chan's ability to act while fighting is something I don't think I've ever seen done as well since. In this film, he has to act drunk the whole way through because it's about drunken boxing. The way he's able to really portray a drunk person and how much fun comes through with that, and how he's able to use his facial expressions to really sell the fact that he's drunk or he's angry or how he takes a hit during the fights is something unparalleled in modern day action films. Even though I would say Drunken Master is one of the best kung fu films out there, I don't think it's Jackie Chan's greatest work. That comes later when he is given complete freedom to do what he wants. Jackie Chan's had such a mad career that I didn't want to jam it all into one video. In part 2, we're going to look at his more contemporary, modern work that took him from the realms of martial arts actor to worldwide action star. I know it's been a while since the last video, and I want to thank everybody for being so patient with me. If you like it, then like it. Give me a wee subscribe if you want to know what happens next in the life of Jackie, and be a mate and share this amongst your Jackie Chan pals. Catch you in the next one.